LearnToKids.com podcast episode number 2.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see.
Hey everyone, this is Charles with LearnToKids.com, and we're coming at you with another mini podcast, advice and tips to help you level up your kids' skills. In this particular podcast, we're going to be covering the concept of skin, muscle, and bone. And I love using this concept to show how much pressure can be used to touch the skin of your partner to communicate or receive an intention while we are dancing. And I do have to give credit where credit is due. I heard this very first from an awesome instructor named Lindsay Hutton, who is based out of Ottawa, and that is Canada, for those people who don't know. If you ever get a chance to take a class from her or private from her for kids, she should be awesome lead, awesome follow. Highly recommend it. Thank you, Lizzie, for helping expand my horizons. So we're talking about basic human anatomy here, where our outermost layer, the skin, aka the epidermis. Then under the skin, we have our muscles, and we have all kinds of different muscles. We're not going to get into all the different cool names of different muscles. And then under the muscles, we have our bones. So let's use our imagination and think about the different amounts of pressure that we can use against our skin. Or you can even just touch your own skin or touch your own body and kind of follow along with the little examples that I'm going to be giving to you here. Yeah. So if we're talking about levels of pressure, the first level of pressure is so light to where if you make contact with yourself or with your partner, you're still able to slide your fingers across the top of the skin. So right now I'm recording this, I'm putting my hand on, I'm touching the back of my hand and basically making full contact with my fingertips and basically not applying a lot of pressure so that my fingers can still slide across the top of the skin. So that is our first level of pressure. Imagine a feather sliding over the top of your hand. Very soft, but still making full contact. And this contact does not include enough pressure to go past the skin to the second layer, which is the muscle. And now, if we get to the second level of pressure, this is going to be the muscle layer. If you were to press the top of your hand hard enough to where the sliding of your hand on the top of your hand stopped and now starts to pull the skin in the direction that you're moving in, the pull would reach an ending point as your skin cannot stretch forever. If you can remember a time that you've ever gotten a massage, you can remember, or you can at least imagine the different amounts of pressure that the massage therapy used on different parts of your body. The level of touch will go past the top level of the skin and reach your muscles as a masseuse would. Keep in mind that we are using the top of the hand as an example, but this contact could be made anywhere where the contact is made with your partner for the sake of communicating or receiving an intention. All right, moving on. The third level of pressure is much stronger since the contact will go past the level of the skin. This level of pressure should be used in your dance very to not at all, in my opinion. If the follow maybe is taken off her axis into a lean, or maybe lifted completely off the ground, I can definitely see the need to provide support and good support to your follow. But other than that, I feel like this level of tension should be avoided completely. As a lead, if anything is not being picked up by your follow with a muscle level of attention, it is not worth forcing it to happen. And I will repeat this again. It is not worth forcing to happen. If I'm trying to force it, it's almost like I'm yelling at my partner in order to do some particular move. And I just feel like it's not worth it to yell at my partner because there's so many other things that I could be doing except for that one particular move. So I don't need to be so gung-ho about making that one move happen, you know? For me, I feel when I'm dancing kizomba or kiz, I feel like 80% of my dance is at the skin level, 10% at the muscle level, and the other 10% I try to achieve with visual lead and follow technique, which makes my leading super light, but also super clear. If I try to execute a move with more technique and the follow doesn't pick up on it after maybe 1 or 2 tries, then I simply leave the move alone. I keep dancing and keep it going with the things that he or she is able to pick up on without trying to force anything to happen at higher levels of pressure, as it can be dangerous. And I feel like it also creates very bad muscle memory. For the role of the lead, it is super important to learn the proper technique to lead with the intention of your body and not the strength of your arms. For the role of the follow, I feel like it's super important to learn the proper technique to follow lightly with minimal pressure, to pick up on visual cues, and also know the lines of the dance in order to achieve becoming a light follow that doesn't need a strong lead to lead you on the dance floor. When both the lead and follow have trained in this, they will find their dancing to feel very, very effortless with minimal effort required to express themselves on the dance floor. And that's the goal. That's the holy grail. If you've taken a couple of classes or been to a few events, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the terms light lead or light follow, heavy lead or heavy follow. We want to be capable of being as light as we can, but there's no real way to really measure how light or how heavy our lead or follow is. I feel like it would be super awesome if we can wear like these bodysuits that were connected to apps, and in those apps, it'll be able to quantify the amount of pressure in terms of pounds per square inch wherever contact was made and display them on our smartphone. So that way we can actually put a number to the pressure that we are utilizing. That will provide instant feedback, similar to when we step on a scale to weigh ourselves of how much pressure we're using, and we could adjust accordingly. I also like to think of light and heavy as two ends of a spectrum, similar to temperature, that can quantify how hot or cold something is. If we're thinking about temperature, 100 degrees Fahrenheit is colder than 120 degrees Fahrenheit, but still super hot. And just like 10 degrees Fahrenheit is hotter or warmer than 5 degrees Fahrenheit, but that is still pretty cold. I feel like this also applies for being light or being heavy. What we perceive as light and heavy depends on our own personal scales of pressure that we have been exposed to. When we're thinking about temperature, like that is universal, whether you're measuring in Fahrenheit, whether you're in Australia, China, UK, it doesn't matter. People understand that temperature. But as far as pressure, or what we'd say as light as follow, I feel like that's very much more personalized. And I feel like it's really depends on what we've been exposed to, like I mentioned before. I like to use a scale of 0 to 20. 0 would be no contact at all. 20 would be enough energy to lift my partner off the ground. With this in mind, I like to dance within the range of 0 to 5. I feel like if I need more than a 5 energy to move my partner, it's not worth battling my partner to force a particular move to happen. So, all in all, I hope listening to this is giving you some insight on how we can become more aware of the pressure that you are using in your dancing. And for more free tips like this, please subscribe to the channel or follow us and subscribe to the podcast. If you like some exercises and drills around this concept, we do have a membership site that you can join, learntokids.com, where you can gain access to over 100 videos that cover moves, musicality, lead and follow concepts, as we just covered here in this particular podcast, history, and so much more. Also, don't forget that we have a completely free Facebook group where I share tips as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you found this useful or valuable, please comment, please share, and we shall see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
And now I'm back to see your face just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh, oh. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. Take my hands, my D, and look me in my eye.